evening and welcome to the Marshfield School Committee meeting on Tuesday, May 21st. Mrs. Pazerski, if you could please call the roll.
Mrs. Gargan. Here. Ms. Stetson. Here. Mr. Greer.
Here.
Mrs. Green. Mr. Costello.
Here. Could you please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we have a lot of students here today, so I'm expecting some good participation on this. And please join me for the Peace Builders Pledge. I am a peace builder.
I pledge to praise people, to give up put downs, to seek wise people, to notice and speak up about hurts I've caused, to right wrongs, to help others. I will build peace at home, at school, on the bus, on the playground, and in my community each day.
Wow, they got me on that one. Well, they've added some stuff here, Ms. Baird. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Under the open meeting law, I'm informing the public that this meeting is being videotaped by Marshfield Community Media. If anybody else is taping this meeting, either audio or video, please notify us as such at this time. Okay, seeing none. I'm going to take the agenda in just in the order that we've got it. So we'll start with our Spotlight on Excellence. We are obviously here at the wonderful South River School, and we're being hosted by Principal Emily Baird and her team. So I'll turn it on over to you, Principal Baird, for our Spotlight on Excellence.
So,
Yes.
I would like to invite up our student council, so come on up, everybody, if you want to do your 3 lines of practice, and then this is both, come on up and join me. So this year we decided to do something a little bit different and share with you some of our student leaders who go above and beyond for our school. So even though they're only in 5th grade, they have done some pretty unbelievable things this year. But just in case you're not aware, in elementary school, well at South River, I think every school actually does it a little bit different, but at South River, students can run to be elected for student council, and each homeroom elects 2 students per term. So students can run each term. So you can see we have 3 terms of students who were selected. And each term they take on a spirit project, they usually take on a school-wide activity, and some kind of giving project. So it might be a fundraising thing, it might be a collection, a drive, but they get to sort of figure out. We have some traditional things that they're part of, but they really get to design and plan the events that they would like to do. And sometimes they choose the traditional ones, and sometimes they say, no, we don't want to do that, we want to do something else. So I don't know that we've ever shared this as our Spotlight in Excellence, and it's kind of something special. And we meet, they give up their recess, or they give up their lunch to meet with me and to sort of do all the planning, and it's a lot of extra work for them. They make the flyers, they make the PowerPoint presentations, they help, Mrs. Schultz is going to talk about that, but they do some other special things around school. So it's really an honor for them to be part of it, but it's actually, I think, probably the most fun part of my job, because we sort of get to plan and do all the fun stuff together. So it's nice to have them, and it's fun to get to eat lunch with them every week, or every other week, or really some of them would choose to have a meeting with me every day. They often say, can we have a meeting today? Can we have a meeting today? So, all right, Mrs. Wilkes going to share a little bit more.
So in addition to the wonderful events that they plan and execute, they do a ton of legwork to come up with their ideas, to plan the event, and then to actually make the event happen. Something that our student council helps out with every single week is our Monday morning meeting. And this is a really special time for our entire school community. It's the one time where we're all together as a whole school. And this is where their leadership really shines through, because all the kiddos in that gym, whether they're in kindergarten all the way up to your peers in 5th grade, you're a leader in our school when you're helping us with that. So all the kiddos are really looking up to them at that point. But they help with that Monday morning meeting every single week, which it's a lot of work. They are in charge of gaining the attention of our entire school community to stand and rise to face our flag and say the Pledge of Allegiance. They lead us with the Pledge of Allegiance. They lead us with our Peace Builders Pledge. They help us with whatever we're doing, whatever we're addressing as a school community during that Monday morning meeting. They're right there helping us, whether it's a little skit they help us put together and act out in front of the whole school, whether it's organizing things to pass out to classes and teachers, they're right there helping us. So, one thing we do at every morning meeting is a greeting, and our greetings really range from everything from teaching good manners to looking someone in the eye and using my hand and saying, "This ring, this is fair, this ring, this is thank you." Or we do really fun, silly things like an underwater greeting, which sounds like "Good morning." So we have all different fun little greetings. Some of our kids come up with greetings to present to the whole school, which is really fun. So our student council doesn't know I'm going to do this, but I'm going to invite you to find an adult at the table. You all have a name tag for a reason because they're going to use your name too. You're going to use awesome eye contact. Their names are here, and you're going to pick a greeting, whatever greeting you like. You might even do the microwave, which is a South River favorite. We teach the kids the microwave to use in the hallway. It's a little tiny mini wave to say good morning. I might suggest at 6:30 you could say good evening and use their name. So I'd like you to find an adult and give them a greeting. Don't trip on the cord. You can go right up to anybody, or you can go with anybody. Yeah. You can go right up. Go ahead. Okay. Teach
I don't know what applies. Awesome, I love that. Thank you so much. Nice to meet you.
Thank you for helping us to teach some readings and introduce yourselves. Thank you for your help with that. And now I'm going to hand the microphone over to Mike. He's going to tell you about one of our very first events of the school year.
Hi, I'm Mikey Bradley, and our first event this year was Pumpkins on Parade, which happens every Halloween. You decorate a pumpkin, and all the decorated pumpkins are placed along the hallway. Each class votes on different categories like scariest, funniest, most creative, and student council's choice. This is a fun event that students look forward to each year. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mel Constantino, and I'm with Maza. We were part of Term 1 Student Council, and we came up with Pie-Palooza. Pie-Palooza is a school-wide team-building event. For example, there was Get the Turkey in the Oven, which was a game that involved teamwork and skill. Although it was a challenge, lots of classes enjoyed it. Also, there was a story walk for the book called Turkey Trouble. It was a fun activity where classes walked around the school to find pages of the book. As classes completed activities, they earned a piece of pie. Any class that filled up their pie got to send a student to the final Pie-Palooza. As you can see from the picture, this activity, students put their faces in whipped cream pie searching for gummy worms like a turkey. Even Mr. Grantino got in on the action.
He did not win.
But we were proud of them all the same.
Hello, I'm Will Tam, and I was a part of Term 1 Student Council, and I helped run the Golden Boot fundraiser to help children beat cancer. The Golden Boot fundraiser was for a cancer cure, and everyone had a choice to wear yellow, black, or dress like a bee. Anyone who brought in money, no matter how much it was, got a bee bracelet and or a sticker. This fundraiser went for only 4 days and raised a ton of money. We donated this money to South Shore Hope for Pediatric Cancer.
Hello, my name is Ensley Borchardt. I was part of Term 2. We helped plan Snowball. We created a competition on who would make the biggest snowman out of paper in the whole grade. In June, we did multiple competitions. For example, wrap a snowman challenge to see who can make the best snowman. We would make the best stack of holiday boxes. Everyone would wear PJs that day if they wanted to.
Hi, my name is Lily Mangione. The week leading up to Snowball, students earn snowballs for showing kindness and great sportsmanship. At the end of the week, the class with the most snowbucks wins their snowball trophy. Like Ensley said, we did activities in the gym and lunchroom, but also did activities in the art room and our classrooms. In the art room, we painted canvases of snowmen outside, and in the classroom, kids got to do the snowcraft that they got to take home.
Hi, I'm Avery Burke, and I'm from Term 2 Student Council, and we'll be telling you about the Penny Wars fundraiser we ran to raise money for fun activities at school. On the first week of Penny Wars, Student Council set out plastic buckets for every grade. For about a week, every student in the school brought in coins and filled their grade level buckets up to the rim. Dollar bills counted as negative points, so students placed them in other grades to bring their points down. I think that the Penny Wars was a very fun activity and raised a lot of money.
I'm Megan Gaffney, and after about a week, we collected and counted the money. The total came to $845.78. The winning grade brought in $275 was 4th grade. This was an extremely fun challenge for our school. 3rd grade brought in the most coins, but people put a lot of dollars in their bucket, which subtracted their score. But because 3rd grade made such a big donation, we gave them an extra recess. Everyone in our term had an amazing time being on student council.
Hello, my name is Jenna Boschans, and in Term 3 we worked with a 351 ambassador from the middle school named Nick to help collect clothes for Cradles to Crayons. He came to our Monday morning meeting and helped present this project to us, to the whole school. Each class got a chart with crayon boxes on it, and each time someone brought in a piece of clothing, they would color in a crayon. Whichever class donated the most clothing got a crayon party. Hello, I am Scarlett Jenners. We ended up collecting so many baby clothes, kids' clothes, shoes, and adult clothes. This project helps people who can't afford clothes. All Marshfield schools helped out with this project. We were so proud that our school collected the most amount of clothes. 2 classes earned a crayon party because they collected more than 500 pieces of clothing. We were so excited to work with Nick to help him with this project.
Hi, my name is Shay Malvey, and I think this event will be just ducky. Our student council really thought that since we'll be summer soon, we wanted to help kids who can't swim and kids who can't afford to go to camp. At first, we didn't know a way to show our devotion to people who can't afford to go to different places. We researched and came up with the idea of doing the duck derby to raise money.
My name is Georgia Jones. For the duck derby, students can buy ducks. 1 duck is $2, a quack pack, which is 6 ducks, is $10, or a ducky dozen is $20. During the last week of school, the whole school will have a race. Each class will have a winner, and they will get a huge duck. The winner of the final race will get a ducky-themed basket. Let's get more kids into swim lessons and camps, because swim lessons are very crucial and important. Thank you for allowing us to share. If you have any questions, let us know.
Well, I am so impressed, and if you guys stay here for a sec so we can compliment you and then maybe ask you a couple questions if there are any, but I want to just compliment you all at first and compliment Mrs. Foltz and Mrs. Baird as well, because that's such a creative way of using a spotlight to show us so many different things that you've done that deserve recognition. So there's clearly a very special place. I think you would all probably agree with that, but that's awesome to see all of the great things that you've done. And I think you should all be very proud of yourselves for getting involved with leadership at this point in your school career. That's really important, and I hope you've learned a lot from it because you've clearly impacted a lot of people with it. If anybody at this table, any of my friends have something to add or any questions they'd like to ask, please.
Yeah, sure. I agree with everything Sean said, obviously, but you guys are so well spoken. When so comfortable with that microphone, there's so many adults that can't even do that. So kudos to you guys. That was really, really great. You guys are so creative, and this goes to you too. You guys do a lot of really great stuff at this school. We have the privilege of seeing everybody, but this is awesome. I really, really like that. And I hope those ducks are for sale.
Yes.
Great job.
I've never had good luck with that. Although I am going to try again this year.
Okay.
I did Really good last time, but I ended up buying 5 dozen trucks. And I think they all.
Sounds about right.
Ours can only go down, they're just going down the hill.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this was in the river, I probably over.
Ours is a little thicker.
Bridges with rolled legs and what.
Yeah, you guys are doing a great job in I'm very impressed by how you carry yourselves, especially in front of the audience.
Right.
I just want to say that I think I'm most impressed with the activities that you guys did that were fundraising for people outside of your school and our greater community, and it makes me really excited now knowing that you're in 5th grade in 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, having your leadership at the high school, and to see what you guys are able to do when you're older. I would encourage you to stick with student council and activities like this, and we're all super proud of you. Thank you for all your hard work.
And Miss Stetson went to South River. Right? So, Miss Stetson, you see. Miss Rick.
I'm not volunteering, but fun fact, when I was in college, one of my summer internships was dressing as a duck to help promote a duck race similar to yours.
Oh, do you still have the duck costume?
I'm not at the costume, I had pictures of myself. Yeah.
We need to see those.
Yeah, but you can't see me, you're just behind it. But awesome job. I think this presentation really made me happy because I thought this is what I hope elementary schools are. You know, that you're having fun, that you're creative, that you get to work together, that you get to have this community and your school community and help the bigger community, and probably learning a ton of stuff you don't even know you're learning, which is great. So good job to you guys, and excited for you to go to middle school.
Mr. Brandon, anything you'd like to add?
Well, I'm just hoping that I have one more pie eating contest before I retire. I think I can score well on that. I had fun. No, just thank you for what you guys are doing. This is awesome. This is what school should be about, having fun, doing things for others. I love the efforts and your efforts are helping those in need. That's what makes this very special. And I've seen some of your older schoolmates who have now gone up to middle school and high school continue with that leadership and encourage you. And I think eventually the green team at the middle school really was with Mr. Miller. There was a few sophomore students that were part of that and very environmentally conscious. This might be a school in the district. It all started here, so you guys are people leaders, so just keep going. That's wonderful.
Okay, well said. Keep it up, guys. How about one more round of applause?
We'll just do you want to go behind school committee, we'll take a little picture?
We're standing. You want us to
No, if they can stand behind. Why don't you, Mrs. Wilson, right on there? You guys can run up over there. No. Actually, yeah, come this way, that isn't going to know it. Get out of the way. Thank you guys.
Good job. Okay. Wow, what a way to open a meeting. That was great. You set the bar higher and higher with these spotlights. Oh, awesome. Awesome stuff. Yeah, you guys are nice. Yeah, if you want, please.
This is for self.
All right. Well, that was great. I'm going to move the information to the end. I'll move subcommittee reports to the end as well. Are our student representatives with us today? What's that? We've reached a point of the meeting for public participation. If anybody would like to address the meeting at this time, now is your opportunity to do so. Okay. Yep, please, guys. Familiar face. You know the drill name. I do. Encourage you for all of the reasons that I shared for the last meeting to adopt this start times for secondary students. To stay focused on that mantra of every student, every day, whatever it takes. It's the right thing to do for our older kids, for all the academic and health reasons we talked about a couple weeks ago, both physically and mentally. Mostly, I just want to thank you all, the committee, for working on this issue, for taking up this issue and getting us to the point where you can take a vote on it. And I'd like to thank Mr. Miller and your team for all the logistical work, the buses, the routes, all the things, and especially Superintendent Bertino for your stewardship of over the last couple of years of working on this issue. I think with these later start times, we're leaving a legacy not just for our younger learners at the building that will one day bear your name, but also for our older students as well. So thank you for all of your work on behalf of all of our students in the lab.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Further public comments at this time? Another. Thanks.
Anna Lanakis, 1009 Union Street. So again, I won't rehash my comments from 2 weeks ago. I know some of you, Laura wasn't there last time, which I'd be happy to share my comments, but I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I guess to say that I would like to encourage the latest start time possible for the district, mostly for the high school students, also for the middle school students. And that's not only because of personal preference. I mean, what my personal preference is, in my mind, it should not matter. It should be based on something that's broader and bigger than just one family. And so the concept is that because we know scientifically, in 2014, the American Academy of Pediatrics came out with a study saying that high schools should start at 8:30 or later. I know that's not possible for our district. I would love it to be. And because logistically it's not possible, I would encourage the latest start time possible. I don't think that the difference between 8 and 8:05 is necessarily a difference. I do think 7:45 to 8:05 to 8 o'clock matters. And mostly because that 8:05 time, I think, includes some walking from the middle school, so essentially it's not really a difference. I would say that the last time I spoke, I did receive some positive feedback from the school committee about encouraging not only the later start time because it's better for students, but also because science should weigh more heavily than personal preference. So if somebody has a child who's, has to be driven before the person goes to work, and the person wants to get to school earlier, well, that is really a personal, a family preference. It's not based on science. And lastly, I'll just close by saying that, we want to essentially, if we all agree that a later start time is important for us, I think we should agree that we will come up with this. We should aim for the solution and then figure out how to make that happen. So last time, I think we were discussing, some of the bus routes made it complicated to start at 8 o'clock. 7:45 might be a little easier because there's some more wiggle room between 7:45 and the elementary school time. I would say we should aim for what we want because we don't want to have to go back through this again in 3 or 4 years. The goal is to aim for 8 o'clock and then figure out the logistics. We can make it happen. We've done a lot of things like this that are complicated in town before. So I think we should start with the solution and then work backward from there. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any other members of the public wish to address the committee? Yes, please. Just state your name and address.
Lauren Seaga, 142 North Million. I am here also to support the motion to move the start time to high school later. I'm encouraged to know that this move is being made here in Marshfield. Other neighboring towns have already done it. I work in a town as a middle school teacher in which the high school starts after the middle school. And I know even for my middle school students starting at 7:30 is a rough go. So, as comments that were already made, science supports this, educational leadership supports this, every educator knows, and every parent knows, that to expect an adolescent to begin learning at 7:15 is too much. It's ludicrous, and it's really putting too much on our students and our kids. And I think the later the better. And I understand that there are concerns in the community about the parking and the traffic issues, and I trust that that would be, I'm sure that discussion has already taken place. I know that I've been reassured of that, and so I trusted the leadership to make that right decision. But I'm really encouraged to know that this is the direction that we're headed, because we're a little behind, but we haven't done that up to this point. Yes, do it, Hanover, all have high school started later. It just makes educational sense, and definitely support it. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other members of the public wish to address the committee at this time?
Hi, Susan Patrese, Riverside Circle. I also wanted to comment on the proposed start times. I have a night fair and a day fair, and my night fair is at the bus stop at 6:30 every morning. We play 3 sports, so it's often not only to early midnight, but then to have dinner and do his homework and start it up at 5:45 a.m. to do it. I, on the other hand, teach at a high school at an 8 a.m. start. In my psychology class, we discussed just how beneficial our later start time is to teenagers and those who are in rhythms, allowing them to sleep later and get more rest than those students in nursery. I'm also a varsity coach in the Patriot League, and I'm one of the first school in the league to go to a later start time. I realize some people are concerned with extracurriculars and games starting later, but considering many of the other teams in the league also start late, later start times are better than ever for many years. I want to thank you for your attention to this very important issue, and I hope you will vote for the latest possible start time for our secondary schools in support of the evidence showing that this improves academic performance and mental health in middle and high school students.
Any other members of the public wish to address the committee at this time? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move on. We have a couple of agenda items. Oh, I'm so sorry, Mr. Raymond. Wow, the MEA update. Never want to lower advice, sir, please.
No worries. It's better you're not going after the few kids. Hello, everyone. Mr. Costello, members of the Marshfield School Committee. So good evening. Hope you're all well. As always, thank you for providing time for the MEA on today's agenda. Before I get the association's shout out this evening, I wanted to thank the entire membership of the MEA for their continued generosity in contributing to our annual scholarship for MHS graduates. Over the years, the association members have given over $100,000 of their own hard-earned money back to Marshfield students through these scholarships. Senior Awards Night on the 30th, our scholarship committee, which is led by District Teacher Bob Gallagher, is going to give out awards to 39 deserving MHS seniors totaling $10,000. Generosity of Marshfield Educators Board is something absurd, and this financial gift is nothing compared to what is given every day in tireless dedication to student success that happens. To wit, I am here to briefly, belatedly, and very completely brag about one of the town of Marshfield's finest educators and human beings. Her name is Christy Pitts, biology teacher at Marshfield High School. The MHS Science Department wants you to know that, quote, Christy is an outstanding educator and exudes strong, quote, mom energy to both her students and colleagues. Her care and compassion for her students and the rapport she creates with them is astounding. Respect that her students have for her is evident in the way they talk about her outside of the classroom. It's almost guaranteed that anytime her name comes up, it's quickly followed enthusiastically by an "I love Ms. Pitts." The students feel comfortable enough to confide in her and seek out her advice, and that she honors their trust with words of wisdom that will guide them in making good decisions for themselves and for others. Christy pours her patience and skill into her freshman and sophomore biology classes, spending afternoons in the library as a maths tutor, and working as a science teacher in summer school. She is also a steward for her students in the future medical professionals. Her name has been attached to 3 MEF grants in recent memory and initiated an innovative virtual field trip that allows anatomy and physiology students to witness a live open heart surgery and talk to doctors and nurses from the safety of the MHS auditorium. As advisor to the Future Medical Professionals Club, she runs charity drives, fundraisers, and schedules presentations from present medical professionals. There, she provides opportunities for MHS students to participate in hands-on vocational programs before they venture out into the real world. Ms. Pitts is constantly trying to better our school community and has served as both an official and unofficial mentor to new teachers and as a co-advisor to the class of 2026. She's the first to volunteer for a colleague in need, whether we can help deal with a difficult classroom situation, advice, new perspective, stand in to give a speech, or a chauffeur. Christy serves as a resident email proofreader in the science department and probably beyond. Ms. Pitts is the irreplaceable pillar in our building, and we, the staff and students of NHS, are exceptionally lucky to have her, end quote. At this point, I know you all expect these all too brief and completely incomplete testimonials of the true metal educators in Marshfield, but please do not get used to them. They are not to be taken for granted. They are not too much of a good thing. Christy is an exemplar of all the good that cannot be tweeted, an embodiment of the great things great people do for our kids when no one is looking. The more my colleagues feel their voices are heard, their contributions are seen, and their input is valued, the better they feel about themselves, the better the practice, the better the lives of our kids. In words Ms. Pitts might appreciate, the well-being of staff and the well-being of students are symbiotic. One needs the other to thrive. Please continue to keep this quality and well-being well in mind as you make the important decisions and guidelines for public schools. Thanks for your time and have the rest of the morning.
Thank you very much, Mr. Raymond. Much appreciated. Okay, I'm going to move the meeting minutes to the end of the meeting as we typically do, and I am going to begin with the old business, which should just take a few minutes, and then we have our town administrator and some of his team here to share a presentation with us, and then we have our friends from the CPAC here as well to give a presentation as well. So we'll start with the 2024 to 2025 start time discussion. This is a second read. We had some discussion on this at our last meeting. There was a request from the committee to have the subcommittee vote on a recommendation, and I believe that has been done, and here's a unanimous recommendation. So I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Brady, for anything you'd like to add.
Yes, sir. I will be brief because we said we talked a lot about this at the last meeting, but we had three options that we were looking at as a group, as a subcommittee previously. Those options range from the high school starting at 8, middle school starting at 8:05, and elementary starting at 8:45. Again, getting our older kids to school later, getting our elementary school on one tier, which is something that, since I got here 9 years ago, has been kind of a goal. The second option was the 7:45 for the high school, 7:50 for the middle school, and 8:40 for the elementary. Again, that was kind of the safer option, knowing that no matter what option you follow, it's going to be a little clunky the first year through. Probably wanted to, this one kind of afforded a little more time between the secondary run and the elementary run. And then the third option was the middle school starting at 8, the high school at 8:05, and then the elementary at 8:45. So just flipped 1 and 3 with just the high school and middle school flipping one way or the other. We had a lengthy discussion at our last subcommittee meeting, and we had a vote, and it was unanimous that proposal 1, the 8 o'clock start for the high school, 8:05 for the middle, and 8:45 for the elementary was the option that we wanted to move forward to the committee for the 24-25 school year. That would end the high school day at 2:32, the middle school at 2:35, and the elementary at 3:25.
Great, thank you. Any questions or comments from members of the committee? Mr. Gray.
Not at this time. Are we voting just on that recommendation?
So we can take a motion on any of the options that have been presented. That's just a recommendation that's been given.
Yeah, so I don't think the motion is
Okay. Great. Any other comments or questions?
Just one comment that I think I said the last meeting, and I think it was on that segment, like, for me, my personal preference would be to get my kids outdoors as early as possible, because my workday starts at 8 a.m., like, that's my family's reality. However, reading all of the information and articles that we've been given, like, it's very clear what recommendations are from pediatricians and people that actually understand the science of our kids, and so for me, again, like, personal preference is not the same as what is best for everyone, and I do just want to acknowledge for families that this might be challenging, this might require changing of work schedules and carpooling or whatever, but it's what's, in my opinion, like, what is best for our kids would be to follow the recommendations of the subcommittee and the as well.
My comment is, part of the reason why I ran for school committee was to bring, as a licensed clinical therapist, to bring a social emotional view to what happens in the school district, and I do feel strongly that a later start time is best social emotional.
Work on the analysis. Think we are now.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, when this all started, we had the problem statement, which to reduce the transportation costs. Because we have unused buses at the high school. So it was an attempt to save the taxpayers money. We looked at it that way. And we came up, the solution involved changing the start time. That was the driver for it. It's since evolved into things based on studies. I've read the studies, and personally, decommitting is a kind of lack of controls that we typically have in the study. So that brings me back to the initial driver for changing the start time, which is the cost of transportation. So we ended up discussing the rules, which is similar to what we did for 2 days. So I'd be in favor of proposing the study, which would not have the issue problems with it. But I'm not in favor of it. So,
You can ask a question to me.
Okay, I'd like to ask Mr. Brewer if you are referring to our original transportation agreements that were in last year.
That's correct. So, as you know, we had those meetings because of the problem you stated with the saving money on transportation and making sure that it was, I think the problem, it wasn't so much saving money, it was making it more efficient, making our transportation more efficient. But then we created the separate subcommittee for the reasons of exploring more of the pushback.
yeah, I respect everybody's opinion, the committee as a whole, make the right decision, I guess the board will make a decision, it's me.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Yep, absolutely.
No, that's fine.
Thank
I remember, I know that it differently, that we were trying to get all the elementary schools on one together.
That was a separate problem. So it started out cost savings, and then it evolved into this extra bit. And then the subcommittee that made this proposal was a spin-off of that because that was another additional thing that crept into it.
So that it walked into this.
Yeah,
Also, I think so. The issue of getting the elementary schools all in the same tier does speak to efficiency of our routes, because that's the major issue with why they're not on the same tier. So that was a big piece of that. But I think the two are kind of commingled at this point. I think it's come to a point where we look at other districts around us, see what the trends are, and recognize that the two issues are very much related. Which is why the separate subcommittee was created, to ensure that one issue wasn't bogged down or overshadowed by the other, but also to show that the two are very much related.
Correct. And I don't have enough information with the subcommittee did, but I'm more concerned with unintended consequences. Because I don't see them in my previous experience. So I'm back to my subcommittee. Which is scrutiny.
Right, which I know the transportation subcommittee was yourself and Ms. Freight, and then Ms. Stetson and Ms. Darby on the start time subcommittee.
Correct.
Yes.
I did just want to say, I think while the start time subcommittee hasn't been a newer subcommittee, I know we've been on the committee for 9 years, right? And we've been hearing about start times from families and parents since 9 years ago, so 2015. So while that subcommittee is new, I can't think of anything else that has been a continuous issue that's been brought up since then, aside from start time.
Right.
So I think it's time.
Yeah, there's multiple people in the room, including a member of this committee, my first conversation with them ever was about the need for greater start times. It's been an issue for a while that people have been talking about, but I understand what you're saying, and of course you have every right to say it.
And I've had a number, I understand there's a number of people who reach out saying we want to, I've spoken with many people that don't want any change at all.
Right, yep, as have I.
Yep.
Yep, there's always two sides, maybe
Every
even more.
issue.
Yep, every issue. I think the question I had, and just for clarification purposes, one of the issues I've heard with this is and it was alluded to, is the concern for safety in parking lots and everything like that. I just, if we can just maybe put people's mind at ease to say that those conversations have already started.
Oh, yeah, we've already had a conversation with Lieutenant Joy, the police department, chief department, our SROs. They were waiting for us to have a final decision, and then they're going to be meeting with us even prior to my departure to start looking at finalize some safety plans necessary to provide for smoother in and out of buses and our drivers and our walkers to the schools.
And I want to thank you and Mr. Miller for making sure that you were keeping them updated on the conversation, and just so we're hitting all of those areas that we need to get with student safety and our staff safety.
Very much.
Obviously, very important to all of us. Yes, please.
Just a reminder that the start of every year is messy.
Yeah.
So when it is very messy at the beginning of next year, just urge everybody's patience to
Yes,
we get
yeah, absolutely. Okay, any other comments or questions? All right, is there a motion on the floor to start? Okay, Mrs. Dargan moved that we accept proposal number 1, which was the start time for
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
8:05 for middle school, 8:45
Thank you.
for the elementary.
Okay, that motion's been made. Is there a second? Second for Ms. Stetson. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Mr. Greer, you're abstaining. So that's a 4-1-0, Ms. Kazerski. Okay, thank you very much, folks. Much appreciated. And thanks to all of you who have been working on this for a long time as well. Thanks to the subcommittee, Mr. Miller, Mr. Francino, two of you down here, everybody.
And the principals.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Okay, next up, we have our town administrator here with us tonight, Mr. Moresco. Welcome to the school committee. You are welcome to address Mr. Francino. Anything to add?
Just, I had spoken with Mr. Lesko a few weeks back, and the town meeting in April, with some things, continued plans to find ways to help our town, help our district. So I'm sure from Lesko, talk a little bit just about the process that having a new town meeting in a couple of weeks, and also there was some discussion separate from the town meeting that relates to our middle school as potential sites for photovoltaic panels and even carport solar panels. With that have been discussed in the past. We're really on the forefront because there's no cost associated with any repairs that we do that since middle school has been removed. And any work that might get done on the road in the parking lot would also be in the cost of the district. So, but they have to go through a bunch of planning steps with different committees in town. So I thought it'd be good for him to just explain that process to you folks, since they're offering to tax us in many public ways.
Great. Well, it's yours, Mr. Marisco.
Chairman Costello, thank you very much, and school committee members, happy to be here. Very exciting. I enjoyed the beginning of the meeting and seeing all the great students that are being turned out from South River. My daughter went to South River, so felt good to be home. So thank you to everyone. Superintendent Grantino, thank you for the introduction. Again, that's what we really want to be. So tonight, really, I want to allow our team to present information regarding the school roof restoration project for the Daniel Webster School, Governor Winslow School, Ainsway School, South River School, and Marshfield High School. These roofs, with the exception of Marshfield High School, are approaching or at the end of life. The restoration project to all 5 schools will add 25 additional years of life to each roof at a cost of $3,557,000. No matter what the information you gather from this evening's presentation, the school roofs need to be restored. And this process, which you will hear more about from our roofing company, Tremco, is the most economical option for our town and our residents. For Marshfield High School roof, along with repairs to the wet areas, Tremco will be installing fiberglass walkways, which will allow safe access to all the utilities located on the roof. Once the roofs have been restored, photovoltaics can be installed on the roof. The idea behind the installation of photovoltaics was to generate additional revenue for the town of Marshfield while generating green electricity for our environment over the next 20 years. Tonight you will hear from Fred Russell, the town facility director, Jeff Davis from Tremco, our roofing company, Matt Parent, our energy consultant, a member of our energy committee, and he will also present some information from Next Grid, our photovoltaic energy company. Following the presentations, we'll be answering questions from the school committee members and administration, followed by questions from the audience. We will answer everyone's questions to the best of our abilities and information readily available. At this time, I'd like to introduce Fred Russell, our facility director, for his presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Morisco. My name is Fred Russell. I'm the facility director. I'm also a resident at 92 Marshall Street.
I'd like to thank the school committee for the opportunity in their time to have Tremco present our plan to remove the waste installation and or apply waterproofing coating that will extend the life of the roof system to the line and life cycle of the rooftop solar panels. Tremco specializes in waterproofing and building envelopes. They manufacture sealants and waterproofing products for multiple structures including schools, office buildings, stadiums, parking garages, hospital high rises, and more. Tremco has a long-standing and excellent relationship with the town of Marshfield for over 20 years, which is well before my time in the facilities. I appreciate their commitment and timely response to any of our school roof issues, any town issues, roof issues, and their assistance in helping us develop and maintain sustainable building envelopes. It's a key commitment and priority for the facility department. I'd like to introduce Jeffrey Davis, he's Tremco's senior project manager, along with his team here tonight, who's on our restoration plan for schools, preparation of rooftop solar panel installations. Thank you. Jeff, do you want to hold this one? And I do it.
Fred, do you need the PowerPoint?
Yeah, I think you can have just.
Hello.
You say it, you want to end it. Jeff mentioned to me last night, did an MRI.
Perfect time.
Yeah, go on.
Decided-
Perfect time.
That's,
So first of all, I don't know if we need this, but first of all, thank you very much for the opportunity to address the school committee. Our company specializes in managing complicated, sensitive roof environments for clients that have multiple facilities. The bulk of our work is in school district settings. It's also hospital facilities, pharmaceutical plants, places where water leakage issues are a big deal. We've been fortunate to have a relationship with the town dating back to almost 1991, where we started doing some preliminary inspection work at the Governor Winslow School before the roof that was installed in there was put in place. We know the inventory across the town, roofing-wise, very well. And in 2021, in the fall of 2021, Mr. Russell reached out to us to look for some guidance on these 5 buildings that are being targeted for solar. And one of the things that we started off with was a detailed inspection, excuse me, of the roof systems. That inspection we're going to go through in a little bit more detail, but we thought that it would be helpful to the group to give you sort of a map of exactly what's going to be happening when it comes to solar and roof systems like in this kind of application. So if we can start, I'll go through this here. So I don't know if anybody can read this, it's awful small, but what's happening across these 5 buildings, Amesway, Marshfield High School, Governor Winslow, South River, and Daniel Webster, is all of these roof systems are being fitted with solar panels that are actually going to sit on the roof system. We're a little bit unclear about some of the ages of 1 or 2 roofs. Governor Winslow, we're not quite sure when it was installed, but we've looked back and we think it's about 25 years old. Webster is about the same age bracket. And when we start going through this, you'll see some of the things that we encountered when we were doing our inspections. In total, we've looked at about 320,000 square feet of the roof inventory in the town. And the rest of this is going to go through what we found on each instance, what we're recommending for upgrades. And one thing that's very important, we do a lot of work consulting with clients that are looking at solar. The Boston schools is a big one, right? Sometimes you look at 20 buildings for them. And what they need to know is when the solar panels are being installed, everybody needs to know that the roof is going to last at least as long as the solar panel installation. And the reason for that is the process of actually taking panels off. If you had a roof issue on a building that has solar panels on it, a leak, the process of dealing with that is complicated. So what we're doing is we put together a plan to help restore the existing roofing inventory here. And we'll describe what that is as we go. So again, I wish the pictures were much bigger. But this gives you an idea. The photograph on the left is a membrane roof system that's being fitted with solar panels. Certain solar panels sit on racks or trays, right? Others sit on, they're actually physically attached to the roof system. In Marshfield, you'll have a little of both, based on what we've found from next grade. Some of the solar panels are actually physically attached to the roof, and some of them are actually going to be set on ballasted trays to keep them in place. You're in a high wind zone environment here, so there's a lot of care that goes into making sure that these are anchored properly, secured properly. These two photos are just general photos that give you an idea of what it looks like on a slope roof when solar panels are installed. South River will have solar installation on portions of the slope roof. So will Daniel Webster, and so will Winslow. Again, we're trying to show you how these roofs are constructed.
Just, the committee got this.
Oh, beautiful. Good.
So they've been able to review some as well, so
Right.
you have to go through every.
Oh, okay, beautiful. This is a little bit into the micro, but this gives you an idea of how these roofs are actually constructed. If you look on the table here, we've given some samples out of what the actual roofing membrane is on the different schools, Winslow, Webster, Amesway, okay, and the high school. Interesting to see what it is. When you look at a roof, it may look like a big sea of pavement, but it's actually very thin. It's a flexible membrane that was installed on these buildings. So again, the restoration process involves removing wet insulation materials that we found in the roof system and resurfacing the roofs. Right now, these roof systems have typically 60 mils of thickness. It's about the thickness of a thick shower curtain, call it. It's a bad analogy, but that's about as thick as it is. The process that we're going to be moving forward with involves essentially putting a fluid-applied base coat, a heavy fabric, and a top coat onto the existing assemblies, roofing systems. When they're done, the membrane actually will be double in thickness. And we want that so that we don't have any issues with a solar, again, it's all about making sure that you don't have a problem after the solar panels are installed.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
That stuff over there, is that what's all flickering now?
Yes.
Okay.
The black membrane and the white membrane, they're different. The high school has a white membrane.
Yeah.
One's called PVC or TPO, and the other's called EPDM. Yeah, that's a great thing to pass around. Just to give you a sense of,
What it currently is.
yeah.
This actually is what
Yeah.
Cody gave me.
So what is it with that now? I'm sorry?
This document stuff.
That's the technical stuff.
EPDM, rubber, Winslow, Daniel Webster,
Okay.
and then PVC on the high school in Eastway.
They're just different membranes. They have different properties. They're
Thermoplastic.
Yeah, so they use EPDM, other elastomers in the paying thing.
Yeah, well, so this EPDM membrane is an unreinforced membrane. Right? And the white membrane actually has reinforcing string in it. Long story short is they're very thin, and as they age, the aging process, basically the mil thickness in the membrane start to wear away. So after 20 years, a 60 mil membrane might be 35 mils or 40 mils thick. It all depends on weather and a bunch of other components. This is an important slide, I think, because one thing I want to give the town some credit on is oftentimes we're brought into situations where the roof inventory is so far gone that the idea of doing this restoration process isn't an option. But when we looked at all of the buildings, the one that had the most wet insulation, which was Webster, one of the older roofs, only has 8% wet insulation. What that means is, in some cases, you see 2%, 1%, 3%. Those are very nominal quantities of moisture damage that we found. The slides, the pictures on the right, I again, it shows how we go about testing these roof systems for moisture. We use infrared equipment. It's a thermographic process where we try to determine where moisture has migrated down into the insulation below that membrane that we're looking at, and basically collects in that insulation layer. When we go further on, you'll see what we're finding on each one of these schools. So this is the high school. The red areas, pretty straightforward. The red areas indicate areas where we have detected moisture underneath the roof system. All in all, we come across these and they're much worse. The roof is fairly young at the high school, but in this case we found damage around some of the rooftop mechanical equipment, as well as some areas down in the low. I'm not sure what the low area is on the left, but it's like a recessed low area that we found some areas where the water had gotten down into the insulation. But in general, that quantity of moisture is a manageable quantity of moisture to deal with in the restoration process. Are there any questions about that?
That's not leaking through, it's just moisture detected in between layers.
That's right. So if I could borrow this. So I know it's a little hard to see, but underneath this membrane material is a layer of insulation, or multiple layers of insulation. That's where we're detecting moisture. So if there's a hole or a puncture or a tear in the roof, the moisture collects in the insulation and sort of sucks it up like a sponge. What you're seeing are areas where some kind of interruption took place in the membrane and water got down into the system. Probably what happened is there might have been a leak in that area got patched. But the wet insulation material that's inside remains, so that needs to be removed.
And just so Martinsburg wasn't included because that roof is somewhat new, and Martinson wasn't included.
Martins, it means
We're doing the MSBA process for the Martinson roofs, so
Right, okay, thank you.
that'll be with the state.
Okay,
You'll
thank you.
hear something within a few months.
Okay,
And
thank you.
Fergusburg's roof was installed and completed in 2017. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
That's right. So what we want to see when we do this testing is we want to see isolated areas of you never want to see damage, but if you see it, you want to see it in an isolated, small way. You don't want to see widespread moisture damage. That trips the project away from a restoration, turns into a full-scale replacement, which we'll go through as we go on. So, Justin, go to the next one. So I thought this was helpful to give you an idea. All these little rectangular boxes are the conceptual layout of the solar panels that are going to be installed in high school. I have no idea how many there are, but there's oodles. Is that the technical term? Yeah, there's tons of these panels that are going to be installed in the roof. When the work is underway, this installation process needs to happen after the roof is restored, and after the repairs are made at the high school.
So is there another testing period before the panels go on?
Yes.
And how long is that time from when it's installed to when you do another test?
That's a great question.
Okay.
So we typically don't want to see more than 9 months elapse between the time testing is done and the time the roof is restored. Because in that 9-month period, things can happen. The moisture can spread, there can be other issues. So in this case, when we're starting into the restoration work, before it starts, the roofs all get scanned down. These scans are from 2022. The spring of 2022 is when these moisture survey tests were done. So just before the work starts, we're going to come and do this whole process again, because we want to know accurately where any moisture has migrated down into the roof systems.
Exactly, yes.
It shouldn't change it too much, we don't think. We really don't think it should. It might change it a little bit, but I don't think we're talking about massive changes. The reason I say that is that the school district's been really good about taking care of things quickly. When they have leaks, they're not allowed to stay long periods of time. You've got a very good contractor on something called Aquawares who does your service work for you. Whenever there's an issue, they come out quickly and they solve the problem. So we're trying to keep a lid on this to make sure it doesn't get to be worse. That's the whole plan behind this. So there's been some discussion about walkways and why they're needed. Again, if you look on the table, you'll find some samples. Yeah. So one of the recommendations we have specific to the high school is the only building that has rooftop air conditioning equipment of significance. I mean, I believe the building is fully conditioned, okay? So there's a lot of service work that goes on to take care of that equipment. People have to go up, they have to change filters and belts and coolant, and that's not my specialty, but there's a lot of activity that goes on to get to these units. The other thing that happens on this particular site is if you had a lot of snow, you have to have a way to remove that snow without damaging the roof system. These walkway systems are aimed at providing a pathway that the maintenance staff can actually go up with shovels, small snow blowers, and go and clean the snow off without impacting the roof system. That's a big deal on this building because there's a lot of areas that have to be gotten to get to equipment. It also provides a safe way to get rid of snow on the roof without damaging the roof system. So that's one of the improvements that's planned for the high school. Removing the wet insulation materials, upgrading the walkway system, and that yellow outline is showing you where these walkways are scheduled to go.
The walkways are helpful with the apparatuses for this stuff. There was a lot of solar panels up there. So when they install those, is it likely that there could be punctures or things that happen during installation?
At the end, we'll talk about what we're going to do through the process of the installation. So it is a very valid concern. We can go and do all of this restoration work on the roofs. And the solar process, actually installing these panels, is a lot of work. They're up there, they're moving things around. Part of our role is going to be providing some periodic inspection through the course of that to make sure that the roof is protected properly. We're not going to be there full time, but we're going to be able to provide guidance on things that we see that are a concern. And Justin, go back one. Can you go backwards? It's hard to see in this, and you're going to notice that some of these layouts for the walkways, for the solar panels, they don't quite show some modifications that are going to take place in terms of providing walkways to roof drains and so forth. It's just to give you a sense of it. So if you look at the walkway layout and go, oh, wow, it looks like walkways are going to go over the panel. They're not. It's just a concept on where the panels are going. So that's the high school. This is a great little slide because this shows you, if you look at the upper photographs, you'll see that light gray material is what is currently on the high school for walkway system. And all it is a thin pad material that was stuck to the roof during the original installation, welded to the roof in the original installation. The yellow below is pretty self-explanatory. That's the upgraded walkway system that we've been talking about. Sits on little feet, doesn't impact the roof. And again, you can shovel it, snow blow it. You don't have to worry about slipping and falling. It's a durable roof system. And someday, way down the road, if you have to do something with the roof, these panels are reusable. It's not like you have to throw them away and do it over again. On the right-hand side, again, I'll save you from all this, but you can go and read through the percentages and so forth. We try to give you as much information as we could. So the next one is the Webster School. It's probably, if this was let go too much longer, we're not sure that it would be a good candidate for restoration. It's right at the border right now. That's a lot of wet insulation in a concentrated area. This plan calls for all of that material, that wet insulation material, to be removed. So there's going to be a fair amount of work at Webster. Webster is one that we would really recommend be done in the heart of the summer, like when there's nobody in the facility. So again, it gives you an idea. There's a lot of panel coverage on these buildings, and they generate a lot of good, clean energy. But these are the things that we have found during our inspection, right? Little holes. This orange circle, of course, is a hole that we detected after doing our moisture testing. Around this chimney on the upper left-hand corner, there's some issues with the flashings that go up the base of the chimney. Another hole. I mean, it's basically wear and tear on the membrane it's hard to avoid on a roof that's this age. The Winslow School, a good story again. Not too much damage. I think that in total, again, it's probably 2%. I don't have that in front of me, but this is good news. Where the solar panels are being installed on this job, we're actually going to be taking out these areas of wet insulation that actually aren't going to be covered with solar. So we're upgrading the roof for the town as part of the project as well. Again, most of the slope groups there are getting solar panels. Are we going too fast or too slow? Is it okay? All right. So again, same kind of story. That upper left-hand corner shows an area on the roof that was bordered. Those are areas where our testing equipment has picked up moisture that has migrated underneath the membrane. If that gets to go too much more, you're not talking about restoration. You're talking about stripping everything out. A lot more cost, a lot more work, a lot more aggravation. So again, we're going to be removing these wet areas, reinforcing different things that we're seeing. The lower left-hand corner photo is a good one. There's an area where you have to hop up onto this one roof to get to the other roof. You see all the little punctures in this area. I believe we're dedicating a ladder for install right here so that we don't have to worry about maintenance staff coming up and unintentionally hopping a hole in the roof. And one of the best stories is Amesway. Amesway has the tiny little red areas. I think there's 3 or 4 areas, very small, confined. The roof has no traffic, no kids. We haven't seen kids up there. We haven't seen evidence of vandalism. Am I wrong? There are kids up there? All right. We haven't seen them. All right. So anyway, this one, the repairs to the wind insulation are relatively modest. One thing we are going to be improving here is, and we'll go as you see further on, the skylights on this roof are in terrible shape. So those are going to be upgraded and replaced as part of this project. Here's your layout, your panel layout for solar. The picture lower right isn't, I don't want to be too graphic about it. It's not like every one of the skylights is in that condition, but they're all at the end of life and they're all being targeted for replacement as part of this job. One of the things that the code now requires, well, it's not really code, it's OSHA, requires that skylights that are installed be fitted with fall protection cages. And that's mainly so in this setting, if kids did get up on the roof, that you read articles once in a while about some unfortunate situation where some kids get on a roof and they think that they're jumping on something and down they go. They have to be fitted with cages. So the new roof, the restoration process, will include cages and new skylights. I think we spoke with Amesway and they wanted all the skylights to remain, as I recall. So there's also a roof hatch that's being replaced as part of this project, the access hatch up to the roof, because it's got some issues. But that's the kind of upgrade that's involved in Amesway. And another good story, this building, right? There's one small area that needs to be addressed on the left-hand side. That's where the solar arrays are going. The area on the upper right-hand side, the red area, is an area that's out of scope. There's no panels being installed up there. There was some kind of damage to the membrane there. It was repaired. But at some point, we probably should talk about possibly fixing that area too. And you see on this drawing, you'll see that in the upper right-hand corner where that area is I'm talking about, there's no plan to put panels on that particular part of the roof. Good roof, well done. If anybody was here in 2015, 16? Were you the one who you had to live through the roof that was...
The message, without roof membrane.
That was an exciting, yeah. So, hence my comment about you being in a high wind zone. That roof was quite something. But we're fortunate to be able to get that taken care of quickly. I think insurance covered that, if I remember correctly. Okay, so this is South River, straightforward enough. All right, this slide, again, I wish it was more visible, but I think this is really important for the group to understand. If you use a total square footage of these 5 buildings, it's 320,000 something square feet. The total cost to upgrade these roofs is about $12 a foot. Now, today, that's an extraordinarily small dollar cost for this kind of work. If you look at what the cost of replacement is, we're talking about maybe as much as $20 million versus $3 million. And unless you want me to, I can go into the detail of replacement versus restoration is a significant aggravation, cost, headache, closing classrooms, dealing with, you'd never be able to get all this work done in a summer if you were doing full-scale replacement work. So I just think it's important for the group to understand that delta, that $17 million delta, whatever that is, has a finite lifespan. Every year that things nothing has decreased in cost.
About 6% a year, is that the average increase?
Well, it was before COVID, but we've seen an exponential jump in costs for all kinds of things in the last 2 or 3 years. It's been really difficult for us because we have clients who say, we want to do something in 2026. And we help them get budget estimates in 2022. And 2026 comes along and we're way off. So the good thing about this is these numbers are accurate as of the spring of this year. So these are, the $3 million is solid, committed, that's it. Those are real numbers. It's not an estimate, those are actual pricing from February of this year. So we don't have to guess that when we go out and try to price this out that it's going to be different than that. Those are the numbers. So I sort of went through a lot quickly. Are there any questions about any of this?
I have one question. You stressed a couple of times that it's really important that all of this is done the right way before panels get put on. Because if something happens and the panels are on, it's like a whole big thing. Like, if that does happen, who's responsible for paying for that?
It's a tremendous question, and it's a great question to ask. Every one of these, and again, some of this is I believe next year might be able to help with some of this, but every one of these power purchase agreements where panels are being installed basically at no cost to the district, there are things that are typically, I'm not really qualified to get into the meat of the question, but in many cases, there's a requirement that maybe one time the vendor will take the panels off to get to work on the roof issue. But some of the lease agreements are stipulated differently. And that's a question back to Dr. Folks next week.
Okay, thank you.
The best thing we can do is to make sure that before the panels go down, that everything is 100%, and that through the course of the panel installation, that it's periodically checked on to make sure that the right kinds of things are being done when the panels in place.
I'll just jump in, I don't want to leave that question hanging out there. So, if the installer damages the roof with the installation of the panels, we're responsible for the repairs.
Thank you.
I have another question. You've said recommended upgrades a few times throughout your presentation, so recommending what actually is going to happen. You present what you think needs to be done, and then I guess this is a question for Michael or Craig. How do you decide what actually gets done? Do you take the recommendations as a whole and say, okay, this is what we need to do, or are you picking different things at different schools? What does that look like?
Basically, what they recommended is what we're gonna do, because we wanna get that 25-year warranty. The beauty of this quoting system is 20 years from now, or 25 years from now, it's time to do it again. So I kinda like that process too. We're gonna do painting 20 years from now, they do it much cheaper, it's a maintenance activity, we don't require replacement, installation upgrades, any of that stuff. So it's almost like we can do it again, we set the clock 20, 25 years from now.
And when I hope I didn't use the right terminology, but recommended upgrades, we're talking about, for instance, the high school walkway, is a recommended upgrade that's included in these figures. There's nothing that we've talked about that isn't included at this point.
makes sense. So,
Would you do anything different if you weren't preparing for snow news?
yes. We still go through the restoration process. Some of these roofs, we would consider staggering them out a little bit. In other words, we wouldn't have to do 5 schools in 1 year. We would probably prioritize Webster, Winslow, right? And work in the high school for sure. But maybe South River could be pushed out a little bit. Ainsworth, even though it's an older roof, it could be pushed out a little bit based on what we found in the testing. So if there wasn't a push to put the panels in, we could work through a phased program, build the roof.
So it'd still be the same materials, same, all of that stuff too. It would just be staggered.
Yes,
Having had a greater cost, the longer, the further out you go, the cost continues to rise.
and there's something definitely to be said for doing this and getting it done one where you are at one point. Everything is at a certain point, and you don't have to worry about, different things coming your way to the roof. The question you asked, if you weren't doing something with solar, we would be thinking differently.
And is the plan how it is right now going to cause disruption to the school schedule?
Another good question. So what we've done with this in terms of how we've had the contractor place this work out is anything that's disruptive. And the disruptive work in this is going to be things like removing the areas of low insulation. Disruptive is a big word. Basically, it's a little noisy, and sometimes there's dust and so forth that comes down. That work is being done either off hours or weekends. Same thing with crane swings, with crane equipment up to the roofs and all that sort of thing, all being done when kids aren't in the building. Some of the work, depending on how things progress, some of the actual coding work is probably going to morph into the school year. But I just want you to get a sense of what that looks like. There's no odor to these products, which is a huge plus in school settings. And you're talking about individuals who are basically laying out and rolling. It's almost like they're mopping the floor, honestly. They put this material out and they put a fabric in it. We'd be very surprised if it impacted anybody inside the school. You might hear a few footsteps, but you're not going to hear banging and crashing and cutting, heavy machinery or anything like that. So, depending on how things progress, we might, again, we're not a fan of having, that's certainly a fair amount of work that needs to be done in Webster, wet material. We don't want to see that happen.
And we moved any programming from Data Western this summer. That's basically.
But one of the big things is timing is critical. I mean, as far as at this point, I feel this we're almost there. It's on the summer, right? And the contractor who's placed this work, they may not, if you have a summer like we had last summer, every other day, that affects the work.
Yeah.
So,
I was gonna ask that question, what about water? Because we're talking about water, and then how long does it take to dry, so then it doesn't leak?
yeah, we're really worried about, so the contractors can't go and install this material. Like if they know that tonight it's gonna rain,
Yeah,
they can't go and install this stuff.
right, it's like striking a road. Yeah, okay.
There's a lot of common sense to it.
Yeah.
But, I've done this 35 years. I haven't been able to figure out the weather ever. So, it's
Why not?
Why not?
Better.
I don't know. But it's my feeling is that if I'm guessing, I would love to see that the high school completely taken care of first. High school, because there's a lot of panels that are going on in the high school, and that would be a big step in the right direction. I'd love to see it Ainsworth. I'd love to see as many of these easier ones done, this summer. So
And who decides that?
it's a schedule and a word to a contractor and.
Right, okay, that was the.
And town meeting vote on the 24th of June.
Okay, and I have one more question about the product. So is this something that just you do, or, looking at me with it, Okay, so I'm asking the product, is there another product that you could have chosen to achieve the same goal?
Yes.
Like, why did you choose this? Is this something that your company does? This might be a question for you guys. I mean, you answered it a little bit earlier, but do you understand what I'm asking?
Yeah.
Okay.
This was the best product available, we think, based on the information that we heard from the presentation.
Okay.
We went with the thickest available application, because we didn't want something very thin. When you're up on a roof, when you see the material, this is a very thick material, that white stuff, when you touch it, it's actually very hard, it's very durable, and it just made sense for this type of application.
Okay, yeah. So you had other presentations and this is what you chose?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And one of the other things driving that is you ask what other things could be used. If the buildings are completely empty and there's no threat of having kids or staff coming back in, we might use a product that has a higher odor signature. So faster install. We don't want to take that risk with kids and staff and students. So it's an odor-free, odorless application for this. So it's supposed to be.
Thank you.
One last question. Does the method that you use to determine whether there's moisture, is that harder to do when there's solar panels on?
Yes.
So what would you do? Is it?
So once the solar panels are in place, they're basically obscures the roof surface from this equipment that we use for testing. Again, the effort that goes into the restoration process, the QC aspect of it, while panels are being installed, is critical. So it is possible to do, but what ends up happening is you actually just see border lines outside of the panel already. It's not as accurate as what we're doing there.
Right, so if there's damage caused during the installation and then moisture builds, it would be really hard to know.
That's a risk of it. So again, QC during the installation process is critical.
Quick question, which company are you from?
I'm from Tremco.
Okay, so you guys sub out, well, these other companies, okay? So you just provide the materials, and then you sub out to GC?
No, the towns,
We have an on-call contract, Apple Batteries happens to be an on-call contractor, and they're qualified to apply their chemical code.
Okay, and you're gonna be doing PL?
yes.
Okay.
I mean, part of our role through the installation process is to do that field QC work. This group and some others are going to be on these buildings while that work is going on. The application work, and while the panels are going on, like I said, we're not going to be there every day. We're going to be by periodically as those panels are being installed. We have a vested interest in making sure this is understood.
So what's the warranty on the material?
This is a 25-year warranty on the system.
On the system, including labor?
Yes.
Great, thank you, but,
You're welcome to it.
well, let's hope not.
Lucas said at the meeting, oh, Richie.
Rich Greer Memorial.
But the 82.
Any further questions?
No, it's fine.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for a thorough presentation.
Any questions?
Absolutely. They're not leaving, they'll be here, so there's just a couple more pieces. So at this time, I just want to talk a little bit about the photovoltaic piece and what PV will mean for the town. So with the schools, with the cap landfill, with the dog park, the fields, police station, DPW, battery storage and some other locations, we're looking at about a $2 million, approximately $2 million a year revenue for the town for 20 years. So somewhere around 40 million over 20 years. And it comes to the town through the lease. They lease the space, there's no cost to us for the installation. We supply areas for them, and then we generate that revenue. The revenue comes into the general fund, and they get a free portion out to schools, police, fire, ambulance, any of our services. The payback, when you look at it at $2 million, the payback on the roof is a little less than 2 years on the payback. If town meeting approved it on the 24th, it would be the same question. We only lost by one vote, or 2/3, but if it passes on the 24th, we borrow the money from stabilization like the original motion said, and that means that they would be able to begin work the next day. We want to be able to capture that summertime to get some of this done, prioritizing the high school. So this time I'd like to bring up Matt Carrick. Matt will get into, he's our energy consultant, member of our energy committee, and we'll get into some of the other aspects.
I have a quick question before we go. This is directed back at you. And is there anything here that's along the way?
These can take a month or two.
Oh, okay, so we're not talking 12 to 18 months.
Not like a few years ago.
Yeah.
That's us, a month or two, isn't it?
And one other thing I wanted to mention, we have a QRC code pamphlet. So what I prepared on the town website, you can snapshot of that, and you can go to it, or you can just go to the website. There's about 500 or 600 pages of material, all broken out by category, and I have 25 questions and answers, which I'll continue to add to as questions come in. So we have that information also.
Hi, Matthew Parents, town energy consultant. A lot has been spoken about the solar going in. I'm just going to give a little background. So what's on the screen now? So we've been working on, like Bill and his team, been working on this project for the solar projects, not just the school, but all the projects at the landfill, airport, police station since 2019. It's pretty intense projects, and working with the utility, they have finally approved all the schools, and so we're working with his team to see which projects we can install this year and others following year. So as you see on the locations and the addresses, this is a PPA where the town does not pay for any of the projects. It's developed by the solar developer, and the town receives that lease payment annually for the next 25 years. And so just on the schools, the total is a little over $350,000. And as Michael said, total with all the projects, it's a little over $2 million a year. And then the right column is the system size, which is basically all the panels in kilowatt in DC. So that's sort of the overview right now. I believe we're focusing on 5 of those schools for roof replacement this year. I'm not sure if we're slated to do other ones. But we focus on those 5. So I'm going to quickly go through the designs. If you have any questions, just jump right in. But let's just scroll. So this is it's a CAD drawing. All those little squares, as we discussed in Tremco's presentation, are solar panels going on the roof. So there are quite a few solar panels. We're going to be mindful of all of HVAC and pathways and setbacks for the building. So there's a lot involved in thinking about how this will go on. The flat buildings, like the high school, are all ballast systems. They essentially just sit on the roof. There's no penetration whatsoever. It's a racking system that just sits there. So as part of that process, structural engineers have reviewed the roof for all the schools and have passed them, because it does add a good 5 to 6 pounds per square foot with the racking and concrete blocks and the panels. It's a pretty large system. It's a good one to start with. That's a 560 kW system.
Can you see this from the street, like the parking lot level?
No, so the racking itself sits there, and it's literally like 7 inches off the ground. You're hard pressed to see it from the parking lot or anything. It's pretty on the flat roof here. There will be others where it's a pitch roof where you will be able to see it from the parking lot.
Quick question, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
So the floor profile, how do you keep the boards on the roof?
We haven't had any problems as far as projects with birds nesting or squirrels or anything like that, but they will be checked, maintenance, not to see if there are any animals making homes up there.
Okay.
Yeah. On a regular basis.
Yeah.
That's checked by the town. There'll also be, there's a maintenance contract with the solar developer that they need to review the systems or by This is the Brunswick Middle School. This one in particular has panels on the roof. That's a flat roof. We're also reviewing and installing carports on both parking lots, and I'll show you what those look like. We have successfully put those at the police station. And they work really well to help with the cars, with the sun, and the rain, and the snow. I believe the police station is. So it's working really well. But I'll show you what they look like on the future slides.
They actually have the ones that are very simple, the ones that they have a field on. So if anyone's watching the field, park out back, or we let the video of the field. So they have it.
I'm curious how many parking spots that's going to run.
It doesn't come up right in front of you, does it?
Yeah, I don't think it eliminates any parking spots at
Okay.
all. Yeah, I mean, it is quite a bit of a footing.
Yeah.
I'll show you what that looks like,
Yeah.
but when it's all said and done, I'm sure they're. So in this case, there's a little bit of flat roof, a little bit of pitch on this particular Ames Way, so you will see them from the parking lot. There will be proposed to have some carports in between here at the fire station. This slide down a little bit. So it's concise system as well. I'm just gonna keep going through this. Any questions, sure. This project will be addressed. It does have additional things that we need to address. Structural arguments.
That's not done right now. That's a full review.
Yeah. Once we find out the funding, extension of it.
We got that as a good for a little while. We got that as a big for the last 5 years.
This is longing that. We put first broken marks in at the same time.
A lot. 15, 16, is it really?
This has some little pitched roofs, but will be attached to the shingle, those elevations and valves where it's flat. And again, just to stress, the roofs are reviewed before, during, and after for quality control. So just making sure, everyone's doing their job properly. That's a really important part of the process. For sure. Oh, this is carport. So I want to show you an example of a carport. So these carports are quite tall to get emergency vehicles like fire trucks and ambulances, so they're quite high. And the footings are substantial, but they shouldn't be taking up any parking spots.
The students are going to need extra driving lessons.
This is a footing that's installed, so it's essentially drilled in about 10 feet into the ground and a 3-foot concrete footing is installed. So hopefully the students don't have too much.
Is this, the maintenance of this included in the price too?
It is, yeah.
So is that, how many years is that?
25-year contract on the maintenance.
Okay.
So the developer owns the project, and so they're required to maintain the system for the 25 years.
Okay, and that includes the structure as well, not
Structure,
just the panels?
correct.
Okay.
Everything, yeah. And when it's on the ground, they have to mow, everything needs to be maintained.
Mow the lawn?
If it was on the ground, like the transfer station, you got to mow the lawn.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
Just, Greg, just like the ones on the landfill.
Okay.
We don't own that one, that's a private one.
Okay.
Across from our landfill, that's in the, by the sense of the area, so we're only allowed to cut the grass in the grass area.
Reflect light into the classrooms. What are they gonna do? Are they gonna be blinding kids?
They will, it's a pretty, a shell itself, so they won't be reflecting.
They will turn that.
No.
And if you see that, they're tilted away from the building.
That'll be how it is at first, but.
And so like in that example, they'll also do lights in the roof as well, so it provides for other, it's like. That's not what it's like. Any questions on that?
Thank you. Yeah, very
Thank
thorough.
you.
Yeah, it's very helpful information for us to have.
Thank you for having us, we're happy to share. There's plenty of information up on the website. We'll leave some of it through our CFO if people want them. And,
Like you're planning an event on June 18th, I believe you said?
yes. So we're going to have a public meeting. We will do very similar presentation. So we want to get out as much information as possible. So hopefully people will come with their questions. Some people have been great. They've already sent some questions. I either direct them to the site because they're looking for particular documents that they want to take a look at, plans to what the panels are going to look like. So the goal is to provide as much information as possible. We want to share all the information.
We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks,
Thank you all
folks.
for being here. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
What's that?
There you go.
Very important.
Thank you.
All right.
Good luck with your meeting. Yeah, good luck.
Hopefully you just let the group be.
Well, the Marshfield.
Let's not walkways.
I went to short and blonded this.
Two big dogs, I love them fiercely. Go downstairs and they're both Newfoundlands.
Oh.
Great dogs.
Just go.
Get your knee.
Gotcha.
We pass it up to Kate. The bad news with
Oh, big slobbery. Thank you so much.
Thank you again. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Okay, we'll
Good, best for last.
agenda item of the night.
Oh.
Our friends from CPAC.
This is just like an intimate conversation, I love it.
You used to work here.
Alright. Alright.
Well, yeah, 13.
Oh, you did? Right, right. What?
So,
You left us. You left our table.
I did, I came over here to assist with the computer.
Nice.
So, we are here tonight, I'm going to turn it over to Amy Smith and Lori Dowling from CPAC. The CPAC bylaws say that every year CPAC can come to the school committee and just provide an update of what CPAC's been up to. So, I'm going to slideshow and just a brief overview, and I'll let you talk about some of the activities in the board. First one, before I turn it over, I just want to say how grateful I am to both Amy, Lori, and also David Coyne, who is also on the board. We have a fabulous board, and they're doing so many things. So it's just all of my other directors, especially our friends, are very young. Not the people that are coming up, so it's great. All right. So just some overview slides first.
So CPAC stands for Special Education Parent Advisory Council. Each school district in Massachusetts has one. Ours is pretty awesome. And memberships are for families whose children are on IEPs, 504s, or out-of-district placements. But all of our programming is open to everyone if it has a child in Marshfield. And we try to really make sure that people know that, because there's topics that are super important to everyone. So everyone is invited.
My mission is to provide a network in which parents of children with special needs have access to relevant information, training, and emotional support, and to encourage an atmosphere of effective, open communication, understanding, and mutual respect among all students, parents, educators, and the community at large. One of the things when we met, probably it was like this time last year, when we met the first time, the three of us, one of our things was to really make sure that we connected. We're all in this together. We all have kids who need a little bit of extra support, those in CPAC. So we really wanted to kind of just make that community of, we're all in this together. We all have different things going on with our kids, but we're all here. And it's just so nice to see people connecting in that way through CPAC and through those conversations and finding those similarities and those differences and just kind of talking it up. We work with Director of Special Education, People with Personal Services. We plan and program evaluation and program development. We promote a support network for families, which I just spoke about. Annual training for families regarding the special education law and IEP process. We do a basic rights presentation every year. This year we did it Zoom. And it's always good. I used to go to it when I was not on the board because it's just always nice to know what do I get? What do we not get? What is going on?
We always learn something for
Always,
years.
yeah, there's always something. Promotes communication and plans, forums, presentations. That's exactly what kind of we've been killing it this year. So.
So, Jim, I can just, this is just kind of information, but it's a volunteer organization, the CPAC is, and it has an executive board. It's also got school representatives and school committee representative. That's one thing that's definitely happened this year, is, the last event, they were talking about the events coming up, but getting that actual collaboration between the families and the staff, really get to transition what we do.
So, yeah, board member, I'm the chairperson, Jada is the co-chair, and Lori is the secretary. And we didn't know each other coming into this, but it's been awesome getting to know each other. We're all different, but it's amazing because we all bring our gifts to the table. And it's been an awesome year. So, yes.
And I'm really thrilled with how well this, someone can't do something or has trouble, we all just jump into the other, and it's been really great.
And then Kendra is our school committee rep.
Been doing that for 9 years.
All right, so just give us some time to talk about some of the presentations that we had.
This is the basic rights one we kicked off the year with that, which was a Zoom, and it just goes through, the Federation does it, and you do a great job. It was well attended.
All right, this one was awesome. This one brought in so many people, not just IEP kids and we had probably the most attendees ever. I mean, we could have been there another hour. She was so awesome, and everybody went home really feeling like they took something home. Big connections.
And then off of that, we were like, okay, so how do we continue to bring people in? So I called up the preliminary collective and I said, what's your other big seller? What is your crowd pleaser? What brings in the people? And this was the other one that they offered by Kathleen Dorn, and she was awesome. And we, again, could have talked for another hour about it. We had a lot of people that came. And it was nice in February because everyone kind of wanted to get out of the house. We were worried what February was like because it's cold and it doesn't work out well. We did. We had that was the one where we had this.
Oh, yeah, folks, more, yeah.
So we had I shortened this
a little bit.
So this is just something that CPAC is advertising for the Federation, generally social needs. The Federation has got several online introductions to the new life because in the beginning of next year, starting in September, everyone will should look into the new. So districts all prepared, everyone's had professional development, and then CPAC is supporting us and helping to make sure those families are aware of the changes that are coming.
This is like the crown jewel, kind of. The Marshfield Transition Committee asked us, which is comprised of a lot of amazing people in the special education department throughout the district.
Colin Casey, who's at the high school.
And she reached out and asked us if we wanted to be a part of this. So this was pretty much a night where you come if you have a child that is, transitioning from elementary to to high school, or high school to after, or even, back it up a little bit from preschool to or the elementary. It was a night where you could come and just kind of figure out, what's going on, who are the players, who are the important people. And it was a good night. It was super fun.
Yeah, if you go to you could go to as many different ones as you wanted. You ask a question, you could talk directly with staff, you could throw out what ifs, what do I deal with? And I actually saw a lot of problem solving happen in the room that I was in. A lot of problem solving happened that wasn't necessarily just about transition, it was just about the now. It was cool.
That's one of the great things about CPAC, is it's very informal, so we usually do a presentation, but then there's also time for people to just talk and get support, and so it's really nice. That was a particularly, you gotta have no expectations in it. Thursday night in May, it was like, people came, and it was really good. We had a representative from Nash Rehab there, who could talk about the services that they get, and the students as they get on, so it was really great. All right.
The actual relationship with district leadership and staff, that just kind of came organically with, I think all three of us, we're people. So you want to reach out and get to know people, and so that was, that turned out really well. Engaging board members and strong parents. Yeah, all three of us were just, we're chatters. So when people came to the door, we would just chat away and they're friends. Our variety of presentations, it was, we came up with kind of a list when we first met, and then it kind of morphed because we had such a great turnout with the anxiety, and we kind of were like, well, what's next? What can we do to make sure that people are still engaged? Collaboration with both, but yes, we're frequent flyers with them and the Federation. So again, building those relationships, it's, just a good chat once in a while. Increasing social media presence, as we've been trying to do that a little bit better, because I feel like, the mom scroll at night is always a good thing to get in there when you can. So, yeah. So our goals for 2024, 2025 is continue to enhance the parent engagement and communication. Working on that a little bit. Workshops, events, presentations, social media. We're gonna hopefully meet soon and do a little dreaming of what we can do for the next school year. Continue to advocate for inclusive practices in special education through ongoing collaboration with district leadership and staff. That'll happen, no doubt. And continue to explore opportunities to build community partnerships. I think that'll be an exciting thing.
I think I don't know if it this, but correct me if I'm wrong, but for CPAC presentations, any town, so or any other town participate, and I'd like to see us start pulling in some from the other towns, because every contact, it just seems more new thoughts that they bring things, and new approaches and ways to markets. Yeah, that's it.
All right, that's it.
I'm sure we've got some questions or comments. Yes?
I don't have any questions, but just a comment that I feel like, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the first year in a long time. There's been like a lot of momentum happening with our seat, and I think that all goes to you guys for stepping in and really putting so much time and energy into this. It's not an easy lift by any means. So thank you for all the time that you put into it. Like, it's truly, I don't ever remember hearing like so much energy around our CPAC. So thank you for that. And also, I love seeing all the collaboration with the Culinary Collaborative. They're a fantastic group, and so it makes like my little heart happy to see like that their resources they have there are so tremendous. To have them be able to come and share their wealth of knowledge here, I think is amazing. So just thank you for all you doing.
I agree with everything Heather said, and so really excited to see more this year. And maybe it is the mom's role, and then I share that with families that I'm working with. And I love the idea of you can come to towns. Like you can learn this. This is good. But I think in my work, I've met so many families that are hesitant or to connect to school, about services, and they don't know who to talk to. They feel like they're bothered, and so things like the transition rate are so huge and really are a good service to the community and connecting with the community. So, awesome. Thank you.
I'll just add to what Lauren said, is that this stuff is good for everybody. It's what's good for CBAC is good for everyone. And I was able to participate once this year. I apologize for not getting no more. But I went to the Aspen class.
Oh,
Yeah, I was like, where's the Aspen class? But it was awesome, and it was so great. And you're 100% right when you say that everybody was just up and helping each other, and like I do it this way and look at this, and that's something that's great for everybody. So I wish, along the lines of what you said, that people are afraid to reach out or they're nervous or whatnot. And it's just good information for every parent.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so.
They, at the end of the meeting, they do a survey of what else would you like to see, and one of the things that kept coming up is people need to be taught to canvas and
Yeah,
Aspen.
yeah,
They do.
Yep.
Giving the presentations, I think it's good.
It's great. Yeah, so thank you for everything you guys did.
There's another quick comment from, I think it's something you said a few minutes ago, I'm not sure what it's about, but as you folks I work with and contact with, are involved with the local town CPACs, and they have nothing but issues, like even getting feedback from them. And every time I hear stories like that, it makes me realize what a great organization we've got here in Marshfield. And also, can you get the contact information?
Sure.
So you know the folks can do it.
Absolutely. Right here.
I knew you. Ready to get all the contacts for water on the face.
So we do have an official email, it's mpsbcpac@gmail.
Yeah, and actually that's the thing about it,
Well, that's what I was thinking, though.
then any one of us can
Or social
check it out.
Yeah, social security number, and
Awesome. Well, thank you very, very much. We
Thank you,
appreciate it.
guys.
We love to see you.
For
Any
seeing
of our-
through all of
Yes.
the other like stuff tonight, it was a long night.
Yeah, thanks for staying late.
So thank you for listening to all of that.
You were the resident roof expert before, so.
That did happen.
Yeah.
I can see all that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
so much.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much. So we have information.
Very good. Just piggybacking on the success of CPAC, but for viewers at home, I just want to again commend Ms. Gallara and her team, Ms. Casey, Ms. Whipple, dragged us to the finish line of the TFM process, multiple years in the works, reports, studies, surveys, visits, you name it, they've done it, and we had the final meeting a couple Fridays ago with a representative from DESI, who was effusive in his praise of what we've been doing here, what Amy has been doing as far as increasing access to all of our programs and an equitable situation for all of our students, regardless of what needs they may have, what challenges they may have. I won't go into all the details, but it was close to flawless, summary. I mean, again, they're gonna find a couple things that they want to address. We did nothing to the point of to call a finding something that you have a set, date by which you have to fix X, whatever it might be. Most likely, unless something very radically changes from what he said, they weren't looking at any real findings for us, like the programs that we have, the access that our students have, in school, outside of school, in the summer, all of those things are in place the way they should be. Again, it's a testimony to the work that Amy has been doing for 6 years in this role, and continues to do amazing things. On a short budget, we're all under a fairly short budget, but she makes it work, and the programs we have here at Marshfield are second to none. So congratulations to you on that work. I want to just also throw kudos out to Miss Amy, the CEO of the Gateway School. If you weren't aware, today was the Neurodiversity Acceptance Fair, and it's kind of a play off of what they used to have at the middle school when Pat was here as the principal, and continued for 2 years afterwards, the Wonder Fair, where they had 80, 90 stations around the gymnasium at the Gateway School, and kids could go in their little groups and learn a little bit about autism, about dyslexia, about visual impairments. Anything that their peers might be going through during the school day, they were able to experience to learn a little bit more about. We had a number of parent volunteers, staff were there from all over the schools, some from other parts of the district. It was a great day. I don't know, say for half an hour, 45 minutes of it, but the kids were involved, they were engaged, they were having fun, they were learning. It was just a real nice event. Our friends from NEF had it was a grant that Andy put forward last year that received funding to help give a launching pad for the program, for some of the things that they have to have for it. But it was a great day, and I think our kids learned a lot of all things they didn't know about. And again, building up that idea of empathy for all the students around it was a big motivator. Also, presentations today, I'll end with this one. Our intern program, our senior internship program, knocked it out of the park, and I know this creates a big part of that. Our students who all had their spring internships were reporting out on it, and they did amazing work. And the presentation skills they've learned or they already had for high school seniors was really impressive. And they were just all excited about what they learned. They were excited about what they learned they didn't like. And they always say that's the best part about the internship program is you might go in thinking you want to be a plumber, and you're in there for a month and a half or so, and I don't want to do this, and that's okay. That is served its purpose. They learn something and they move on. The people today all love what they did, so I can imagine them sticking with that field at least as a target. But it was just a great culmination. We had half the interns today, I believe the other half tomorrow, and then on Thursday we'll be able to gather for family and students and staff. Maybe all invited to it. It's a really nice event, and I think each year it's growing and growing. And I think there was some work in Mass General. Today I missed that one. We had somebody working in marketing strategies company. We had a plumber, as I said. We had someone doing MRIs. We had somebody working at the senior center here. I mean, it was very cool, and the kids were really proud of what they did. And what was neat is there were a number of students that were there cheering on their fellow students as they presented. And a lot of families kind of came in and were able to watch the kids too. So it was a great morning. It was just, a lot of positives going on throughout the morning today. So I just want to share that.
Nice. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Ms. Scar?
I was just going to update you on the TFM, so I accepted that, so that's great. So we should, the next step in that is we will expect to get to it in 60 days. And then for the ones, there's only going to be
Mr. Miller?
The only thing is I'm going to have a full budget update at our next meeting. Just an update on where we're at.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Any subcommittee reports at this time? I will throw in a very quick not a subcommittee report, but just a plug. Grad Night Live is open for volunteers. So please consider signing up for Grad Night Live. I know everybody at this table gets involved with Grad Night Live in some way or another. Myself and Ms. Steffen are on the steering committee. So please, all of you are signed up in some way or another. But, and, oh my God, and Joni, Jesus, Joni's been on longer than me and Kevin combined. Sorry. So please, Joni said yeah. Too much, Joni. So please consider getting involved with Grad Night Live, it's very important. We have a couple of sets of meeting minutes, April 9th, direct your attention to that. And I'd like to thank Mrs. Brake pointed out just 2 quick typos on the front page in my last name.
Oh, jeez. Well,
Which is
now we're
okay.
even.
Now. There's actually 2 on there.
Mr. Coffee.
It's okay. It's just you missed the O on the end of Costello. Might have a loose key in it. Thank you. Any other changes or edits on that? Okay, that would be myself, Ms. Brady, Ms. Stetson, able to vote on that, able to be abstained. Is there a motion to approve the April 9th meeting minutes? So moved from Ms. Stetson, is there a second? Second from Ms. Brady, all those in favor, please signify by raising your hand and saying aye. Aye. Opposed, abstaining? That's a 302, Mrs. Wizarski. And then, May 7th, we have 2 sets of meeting minutes. We will take the normal meeting minutes first. Motion to approve has been made by Mr. Greer. Is there a second? Second from Ms. Stetson. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand and saying aye. Aye. Opposed? No abstaining. That's a 401. And then the executive session meeting minutes for that as well would be a motion to approve and release. So moved from Mr. Greer. Is there a second? Second from Ms. Stetson. That's a roll call, Ms. Greer.
Darling? Stetson? Ware?
Yes.
Brady?
Yes, thank you, that's 401 as well. Okay, folks. That wraps up our business today. I would just like, for the edification of the members, we would like everybody to note that Mr. Grantino has 2 school committee meetings left. Which is wild to think about.
The next one is the retirement.
Yes.
Next
Oh,
one.
I like that.
Yeah.
Well, in a nice way.
It is fun, it is fun. And also, graduation coming up.
Yeah.
2 p.m., same that time, same that channel.
Awesome.
So,
Thank you.
thanks, Kenny.
All right, motion to adjourn from Ms. Stetson. Is there a second? Second from Mr. Dargan. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Yes.
We figured out.